देखिए, जब वोल्टेज को रेफर करना होगा तो वी डैश बराबर होगा ए इंटू वी, तथा करंट को रेफर करना होगा तो आई डैश बराबर आई बटे के ए, तथा रजिस्टेंस को रेफर करना होगा तो आर डैश बराबर ए स्क्वायर इंटू आर। इसी प्रकार यदि रिएक्टेंस को रेफर करना होगा तो ए स्क्वायर इंटू एक्स होगा, और इम्पोर्टेंस को रेफर करना होगा तो जेड डैश बराबर ए स्क्वायर इंटू जेड होगा। अब देखिए यहाँ पे ए क्या है, तो यदि देखिए प्राइमरी साइड से हम डाटा को सेकेंडरी साइड में यदि रेफर कर रहे हो तो वहाँ पे ए का मान हो जाएगा यन टू बटा के यन वन, मतलब कि जहाँ से उठाकर लेकर जा रहे हैं उसको नीचे लिखेंगे तथा जिधर जा रहे हैं उसको ऊपर लिखेंगे। इसी प्रकार देखिए यदि सेकेंडरी साइड के रेजिस्टेंस को प्राइमरी साइड में यदि रेफर करें तब वहाँ पर ए का मान हो जाएगा यन वन बटा के यन टू, क्योंकि देखिए सेकेंडरी साइड से ले रहे हैं तो सेकेंडरी साइड का जो नंबर ऑफ टर्न है उसको नीचे लिखेंगे, और प्राइमरी साइड में रेफर कर रहे हैं तो प्राइमरी साइड के नंबर ऑफ टर्न को ऊपर रखेंगे। देखिए तो इस प्रकार इस सवाल में देखिए प्राइमरी साइड को सेकेंडरी साइड में लोड की तरफ रेफर कर रहे हैं, और इसका दिया हुआ है टर्न रेशियो 3/1, यानी कि देखिए यन वन और यन टू, यहाँ पे यन टू बटे के यन वन बराबर ए होगा, इसका मान दिया हुआ है 3। तो देखिए यहाँ से जो यह लोड है इसका रजिस्टेंस हो जाएगा आर बराबर 3 का स्क्वायर इंटू 100, यानी कि यहाँ हो जाएगा 900 ओम। तो देखिए इस तरह जो सर्किट बनेगी वह इस प्रकार बनेगी, भी और फिर यह भी 900 है और यह भी 900 है, मतलब कि यहाँ पे मैक्सिमम पावर ट्रांसफर का थ्योरम लगेगा, अतः चौथा वाला आंसर सही है। Compared to the EMF method, the EMF method is less accurate due to assuming constant ZS। देखिए EMF मेथड वर्सेस EMF मेथड ऑफ वोल्टेज रेगुलेशन ऑफ द अल्टरनेटर। The EMF method, also known as synchronous impedance method, simplifies the analysis by assuming a constant synchronous impedance ZS. This assumption does not account for saturation and changes in armature reaction, making it less accurate than the EMF method, which considers the actual magnetizing force required for both the air gap and core under load. The EMF method more accurately reflects non-linearities like magnetic saturation and is generally preferred for precise voltage regulation calculation. Method for determining the voltage regulation of the alternator. Ampere turn method, EMF method. The voltage regulation calculated using the EMF method will always be lower than the actual voltage regulation of an alternator. That's why it is known as optimistic method. The EMF method replaces the effect of armature leakage reactance with an equivalent additional armature reaction (EMF), so that this may be combined with the armature reaction EMF. Synchronous impedance method (EMF method). The voltage regulation calculated using the EMF method will always be higher than the actual voltage regulation of an alternator. That's why it is known as the pessimistic method. The synchronous impedance method is based on the concept of replacing the effect of an armature reaction with an imaginary reactance. Pottier triangle method, zero power factor method. The following assumptions are made in the Pottier triangle method. The armature reaction EMF is constant. The open circuit characteristics OCC taken on no load accurately represents the relation between MMF and voltage under loaded condition. The voltage drop due to the armature leakage reactance is independent of the excitation. If the mechanical power input to the alternator is increased but the excitation is kept constant, then the real power output will increase while keeping the excitation constant. If the steam supply of an alternator running in parallel with another identical alternator is increased, if the steam supply of one of the alternator is increased, then its power input to prime mover will also increase. As we know that for parallel operation the speed must be the same for both the alternators. Therefore, the alternator with greater steam cannot overrun the alternator having the lesser steam supply. The alternator with more steam supply utilizes its increased real power to carry more load by advancing its angular position. A 10,000 kVA 3 फेज स्टार कनेक्टेड 11,000 वोल्ट 2 पोल टर्बो जनरेटर has the following losses: ओपन सर्किट कोर लॉस एट 11,000 वोल्ट 80 किलोवाट, विंडेज एंड फ्रैक्शनल लॉस 40 किलोवाट, फुल लोड आर्मेचर कॉपर लॉस 200 किलोवाट एंड फील्ड कॉपर लॉस 90 किलोवाट. Ignoring the change in field current, compute the percentage efficiency at rated load. 0.8 पावर फैक्टर लीडिंग. देखिए, जो यह पावर दिया हुआ है वह आउटपुट पावर होता है. देखिए यहाँ पे किलो वोल्ट एम्पियर में जो आउटपुट पावर दिया हुआ है 10,000 केवीए दिया हुआ है. तो देखिए इसको इसका आउटपुट पावर किलोवाट में निकालेंगे तो जो किलो वोल्ट एम्पियर जो कि एपारेंट पावर होता है उसमें पावर फैक्टर 0.8 का गुणा करेंगे तो 8,000 आ जाएगा. और देखिए टोटल इनपुट पावर से भाग लगा देंगे तो देखिए 8,000 प्लस 40 प्लस 200 प्लस 90 प्लस 80, यहाँ से इसका एफिशिएंसी 95.12 आ जाएगा. The approximate torque angle corresponding to pull-out torque in a practical synchronous motor can be 75%. Torque angle is the angle between the rotor flux and stator fluxes. Both are rotating at synchronous speed. Pull-out torque. It is the maximum torque that synchronous motor can develop without pulling out of step. When the synchronous motor is loaded, the rotor falls back by some angle, which is called a load angle. The stator and rotor magnetic rotate at synchronous speed in spite of some load being applied on the rotor. The synchronous motor developed maximum torque when the rotor falls back by an angle of 90. When the load increases beyond its maximum rating, the rotor steps out of synchronism and synchronous motor stops. The pull-out torque of a salient pole synchronous motor occurs when the torque angle is about 75 अंश. देखिए जब सिंक्रोनस मोटर और हम 3 फेज सप्लाई देते हैं तो उसमें एक तो मैग्नेटिक फील्ड रोटेटिंग मैग्नेटिक फील्ड जनरेट होती है जो घूमती है. और उसके बाद देखिए सिंक्रोनस मोटर जो होता है उसको रोटर पर जब डीसी एक्साइटेशन देते हैं तो उस रोटर पर भी पोल उत्पन्न हो जाता है. और फिर देखिए जो ये रोटर का जो पोल है वो जो स्टेटर के फील्ड का जो पोल है उससे चिपक कर यह भी घूमता है. बट देखिए प्रैक्टिकली ऐसा नहीं होता है क्योंकि जब मोटर पर लोड रखते हैं तो स्टेटर की जो फील्ड है वो आगे आगे चलती है तथा रोटर का जो फील्ड है वो उसके पीछे पीछे चलता है, मतलब कि लैग करता है. और इन दोनों के बीच में जो एंगल बनता है उसे ही टार्क एंगल बोला जाता है, जो कि देखिए यहाँ पे लिखा गया है, टार्क एंगल इज द एंगल बिटवीन रोटर फ्लक्स एंड स्टेटर फ्लक्स, बोथ आर रोटेटिंग एट सिंक्रोनस स्पीड। देखिए परमानेंट मैग्नेट सिंक्रोनस मोटर में जो रोटर होता है उस पर डीसी सप्लाई न दी जाती है, बल्कि वो परमानेंट मैग्नेट का बना हुआ होता है। देखिए रोटर पे एन और एस पोल हमेशा रहते हैं, तथा देखिए जो स्टेटर पे होता है वो 3 फेज बाइंडिंग की होती है, तथा उस पर 3 फेज जब सप्लाई देते हैं तो रोटर जो है कि घूमने लगता है। इसीलिए देखिए रोटर पे मैग्नेटिक फील्ड की आवश्यकता नहीं पड़ती है परमानेंट मैग्नेट सिंक्रोनस मोटर में। देखिए वही सवाल दिया है, द परमानेंट मैग्नेट सिंक्रोनस मोटर हैज ए कॉन्फ़िगरेशन ऑलमोस्ट आइडेंटिकल to the conventional synchronous machine with the absence of field winding and slip ring। इसीलिए देखिए रोटर पर कोई भी स्लिप रिंग नहीं होता है, न तो फील्ड वाइंडिंग होती है, और वह सिंक्रोनस मशीन के समान ही होता है। देखिए इसके बारे में पढ़ लेते हैं। परमानेंट मैग्नेट सिंक्रोनस मोटर, दिस टाइप ऑफ मोटर ऑपरेट्स एट synchronous speed which is constant and it is synchronous with the supply frequency, and the period of rotation is equal to the integral number of AC cycles. That means the speed of motor is equal to the rotating magnetic field. A permanent magnet synchronous motor is also called as brushless permanent magnet sine wave motor. Permanent magnet synchronous machine generally have the same operating and performance characteristics as synchronous machine. A permanent magnet machine can have the configuration almost identical to that of the conventional synchronous machine, with the absence of slip ring and field winding, but a permanent magnet is used as a rotor to create a magnetic field. Hence, there is no need to wound field winding on the rotor. Instead of using winding for the rotor, permanent magnets are mounted to create a rotating magnetic field as there is no supply of DC source. These type of motors are very simple and less costly. It contains a stator with 3 windings installed on it and a rotor with a permanent magnet mounted to create field poles. The 3 phase input AC supply is given to the stator to start working. This type of motor is mainly used in power system to improve the power factor. The open circuit test on a transformer is carried out at rated voltage, usually on low voltage with high voltage side open. What could be reason behind the test being carried out rated voltage? To determine the core loss as the rated flux density is obtained at rated voltage. ओपन सर्किट टेस्ट, ऑटो ट्रांसफार्मर सप्लाई। देखिए वाट मीटर, एम अमीटर, आई नोड, वोल्ट मीटर। देखिए एल भी वाइंडिंग एच भी वाइंडिंग ओपन हुई है। It is done by keeping one of the winding opens without load, usually high voltage winding is open, and applying rated voltage to other winding, usually low voltage winding, because it is easier to apply rated voltage. No load test, open circuit test in a transformer is preferred on the low voltage side because the low voltage is sufficient to obtain rated flux in the core and large on-load current for convenient reading. The current drawn from this terminal is the no-load current at a low power factor, corresponding to the core loss component. Since the no-load current is very small, it does not contribute to the copper loss. Core loss is calculated by multiplying the applied voltage and no-load current. As the secondary side is open, the entire coil will be purely inductive in nature, so the power will be lagging due to the inductive property of the circuit. So, low power factor wattmeter is used in the open circuit test of the transformer. It is used to find the core loss of the transformer. The no load current equivalent resistance referred to the metering side. Shunt branch पैरामीटर मैग्नेटाइजिंग इम्पीडेंस शॉर्ट सर्किट टेस्ट। देखिए, हाई वोल्टेज साइट किया जाता है अमीटर वाट मीटर वोल्ट मीटर। लो वोल्टेज साइट शॉर्ट सर्किट टेस्ट इन द ट्रांसफार्मर conducted on the high voltage side and low voltage side is short circuited. In this test, we need to increase the applied voltage gradually towards rated voltage up to rated load current passing in the secondary short circuited winding by keeping the frequency constant. In HV winding, the rated current is less than LV winding, as rated current is less on HV side. It is convenient to conduct this test on HV side by short circuiting the LV terminals. This ensures that the low range of meters can be used for conducting this test as the wattmeter is connected to the primary side HV voltage side. Therefore, the primary side is generally chosen as the primary side. Short circuit test can be performed on either side but generally performed on the HV side. Short circuit test is done to find the full load copper loss or ohmic loss short circuit current। देखिए, फेजिंग आउट टेस्ट जो होता है वो 3 फेज ट्रांसफार्मर में किया जाता है। यह पता करने के लिए कि प्राइमरी और सेकेंडरी वाइंडिंग दोनों सेम फेज में हैं कि नहीं। फेज आउट टेस्ट ऑफ द ट्रांसफार्मर। देखिए, लो वोल्टेज डीसी सप्लाई। देखिए, स्विच लगा हुआ है, एक गैल्वेनोमीटर लगा हुआ है सेकेंडरी साइड। दिस टेस्ट इज कैरिड आउट ओनली on three-phase transformer to identify primary and secondary winding belonging to same phase. As shown in the above figure, all phases of a three-phase transformer are short-circuited except a primary and supposed secondary. A low-voltage DC supply is given through a battery to the primary winding. The galvanometer is connected to the terminals of the secondary winding which is not shorted. The key K is connected as shown. Now the key is pressed and the deflection of the galvanometer is observed. Similarly, the galvanometer is connected to the other secondaries and the procedure is repeated. The winding across which maximum deflection occurs is the secondary phase winding that corresponds to the primary winding to which the source is connected. Repeat the same procedure for other primary windings and find the corresponding winding on the secondary side। देखिए, इस टेस्ट में ट्रांसफार्मर जो 6 टर्मिनल निकले होते हैं, 3 टर्मिनल एक तरफ 3 टर्मिनल एक तरफ, उसमें से एक तरफ लो वोल्टेज का डीसी सप्लाई लगा देते हैं और बाकी सबको शॉर्ट कर देते हैं और फिर बारी बारी से गैल्वेनोमीटर लगा लगा कर चेक करते हैं। If the number of coils per phase per pole is unequal in coil groups, then the respective bindings is called unbalanced coil। Unbalanced binding has a combination of a number of poles and the number of slots that do not allow the arrangement of the coil in such a way that they produce a symmetrical system of equally time phase displaced EMF of identical magnitude, frequency, and waveform. A 6-pole 9-slot winding has 3 winding symmetries and is balanced. A 6-pole 12-slot winding has also 3 winding symmetries but is unbalanced। देखिए, the number of slots QS The number of poles P for unbalanced binding क्यूएस बटा के 3 गुणे के जी सी डी कोष्टक में क्यूएस P/2 इज नॉट इंटीजर तथा देखिए बैलेंस्ड बाइंडिंग के लिए क्यूएस बटा के 3 GCD कोष्टक में क्यूएस P/2 is integer. The greatest common divisor GCD between the number of slots and the number of pole pairs indicates the number of winding symmetries. Which of the following statements about armature reaction of alternator is not correct? It increases the generated voltage and sparking at brushes reduces. Concept: the main field flux in the alternator is produced by the rotor field poles. When the alternator is loaded, the armature currents are set up which produce the armature flux. When the generator is loaded, the armature carries the current. The armature current sets up its own magnetic field. This armature flux modifies the main flux in the air gap of the machine. This action of armature flux is called armature reaction. Armature reaction weakens the main flux. In the case of a DC generator, the weakening of the main flux reduces the generated voltage. The effect of the armature reaction depends on the magnitude of armature current and on the power factor of the load. The type of armature winding used in large high voltage alternator is concentric winding. Types of armature winding of alternator. There are different types of armature winding used in alternator. The winding can be classified as concentrated winding and distributed winding. The concentrated winding is employed where the number of slots on the armature is equal to the number of poles in the machine. This armature winding of the alternator gives maximum output voltage but is not exactly sinusoidal. Here one coil side is inside one slot under one pole and the other coil side is inside other slots under the next pole. For obtaining a smooth sinusoidal EMF waves, conductors are placed in several slots under a single pole. This armature winding is known as distributed winding, although distributed armature winding in the alternator reduces EMF, still is very much usable as it reduces harmonics and armature reaction. Single layer and double layer winding. When each side of a coil occupies a slot completely without any other coil laying on top of it and the number of coils equals half the number of slots, the winding is known as single layer winding. When there are two coil sides per slots, one at the bottom and one at the top, the winding is called a double layer winding. For alternator concepts like armature winding, distributed winding, concentrated winding, field winding are used. Lap winding is used in DC machine that is used for high current and low voltage such as large multi-polar DC generator. Transformer oil is a highly refined mineral oil that is stable at high temperature and has excellent electrical insulating properties. The primary function of transformer oil are to provide insulation and to remove heat generated within the transformer during operation. High electric strength is crucial for transformer oil because it ensures that the oil can withstand high voltage without breaking down, thus maintaining the insulation between different component of the transformer. Freedom from tendency to sludging is another important requirement for transformer. Oil sludge formation can impede the flow of oil, reduce cooling efficiency, and degrade insulation properties. Constant electric strength. While maintaining constant electric strength is desirable, it is not as critical as having high electric strength. Constant electric strength would mean the oil's insulating properties do not degrade over time, but the initial high electric strength is more important for immediate insulation needs. Low electric strength. Low electric strength is undesirable for transformer oil because it implies that the oil cannot withstand high voltage and may break down, leading to insulation failure and potential damage to the transformer. Zero electric strength. Zero electric strength would mean that the oil offers no insulation at all, making it completely unsuitable for use in transformers. This would lead to immediate failure of the transformer due to short circuited. इस सवाल को ध्यान से पढ़ें. If the current in the armature of DC series motor is reduced to 50%, the torque of the motor will become 25% of the previous value. Torque equation for DC series motor is T बराबर K phi IA. T बराबर K phi into IA. In the DC series motor, flux is not constant but proportional to armature current. Phi proportional IA अर्थात कि T बराबर K IA इंटू IA अर्थात T प्रोपोर्शनल IA का स्क्वायर. अच्छा, टार्क प्रोपोर्शनल होता है IA के स्क्वायर के, इसीलिए द नेट डेवलप्ड टार्क इन ए DC मोटर इज गिवन बाई T बराबर K phi इंटू IA. Therefore, torque is directly proportional to the armature flux and current. By increasing flux or current, the torque also increases. Operation of transformer on no load. While देखिए ammeter V1 E1 primary winding, I0 transformer secondary winding. While primary winding carries a small current I0 called no load current, which is 2 to 10% of the rated current. The no load current consists of two components: reactive or magnetizing component IM. It is in quadrature with the applied voltage V1. It produces flux in the core and does not consume any power. Active or power component IW. It is also known as working component. It is in phase with the applied voltage V1. It supplies the iron losses and a small amount of primary copper losses. फेजर डायग्राम. आई डब्ल्यू V1 के फेज में, आई एम फ्लक्स के फेज में, आई नोड E2 E1. The function of the magnetizing component is to produce the magnetizing flux, and thus it will be in phase with flux. Induced EMF in the primary and the secondary winding lags the flux phi by 90 degrees. The primary copper loss is neglected and the secondary current losses are zero as I2 is zero. Therefore, the current I0 lags behind the voltage vector V1 by an angle phi 0 called the no load power factor angle and is shown in the phasor diagram. The applied Voltage V1 is drawn equal and opposite to the induced EMF E1 because the difference between them is negligible at no load. Active component I omega IW is drawn in phase with the applied voltage V1. The phasor sum of magnetizing current Im and the working current IW gives the no load current I0. In a three-phase induction motor, the number of rotor slots are less than that of stator. In a three-phase induction motor, the rotor slots could be fewer than stator slots. This design is occasionally used to achieve certain performance characteristics by strategically varying the number of slots. It is possible to influence the motor's torque characteristics, cogging, noise levels, and stability concept. The phenomenon of magnetic locking between the stator and the rotor teeth is called cogging. Cogging arises when the number of stator and rotor slots are either equal or have an integral ratio. To reduce or eliminate the process of cogging, the number of stator slots are never made equal to the rotor or has an integral ratio. It can also be reduced by using the skewed rotor. Mechanical losses. As the field system of a synchronous machine is a rotating part, some power is required to overcome friction and windage losses. The mechanical loss, which is the summation of the friction and windage losses, is related to the cube of operating speed. In a capacitor start induction run motor, the capacitor is connected in series with starting winding. देखिए यहाँ पे सीरीज में जुड़ा हुआ है एक जुलरी वाइंडिंग के. Burning out of winding is due to short-circuited capacitor. Transformer concept condition to be satisfied for parallel operation of transformers. First, voltage rating must be same. Second, must be connected with correct polarity. तीसरा, the phase sequence must be same. चौथा, apart from phase sequence matching, the phase displacement between the secondaries of both transformers must be zero. This condition can be fulfilled if the two transformers belong to same phasor group. Phasor group 1. शॉर्ट पिच एन एस. देखिए इंड कनेक्शन कॉयल साइड. देखिए यह अल्फा है 180 माइनस अल्फा. यह कॉयल स्पैन है. ये देखिए पूरा टोटल पोल पिच है 180 डिग्री इलेक्ट्रिकल. When the coil span is less than the pole pitch, the coil is known as the shorted pitched coil. If the short pitched angle is alpha, then the coil pitch factor is equal to cos alpha by 2. Short pitch winding improves the waveform of generated EMF. Generated EMF can be made to approximate to a sine wave more easily and the distorting harmonics can be reduced or totally eliminated. The power factor in the reluctance motor is lagging power factor. The efficiency of the machine is about 55 से 75%. On the positive side, the rotor is cold, no current flow, and hence the overall power consumption of the reluctance motor is usually lower than that of an induction motor of similar size. Variac used in various laboratories is basically a auto transformer. Load Variac AC source 1 2 3 4 5. Variac is a type of auto transformer that provides adjustable AC voltage. Their distortion-free output is ideal for sensitive electronic application testing devices, for agency approval, and numerous other applications where a variable AC voltage is required. The Variac transformer boosts the output voltage in excess of twice the input voltage. Isolation transformer. An isolation transformer is a transformer used to transfer electrical power from a source of alternating current power to some equipment or device while isolating the powered device from the power source, usually for safety reasons or to reduce transient and harmonics. An auxiliary motor are commonly used to power additional equipment mounted on the machine apart from the main motor, which generates electromechanical rotary motion to drive the main shaft of the machine. A three-phase induction motor is used as an auxiliary motor. A synchronous motor is not a self-starting motor, a pony motor to start the synchronous motor. The function of this induction motor is to bring the rotor of the synchronous motor to the synchronous speed. The number of poles of the induction motor should be less than the synchronous motor, else it will never be able to achieve the synchronous speed of the synchronous motor. The auxiliary motor brings the synchronous motor speed almost equal to its synchronous speed. The auxiliary motor starting cannot be used for loaded synchronous motor, hence only A, B, C are true. Hysteresis loss depends on which of the following factors: frequency of magnetic reversals, BH curve, flux density, magnetizing force H, magnetizing force in opposite side, फ्लक्स डेंसिटी इन अपोजिट साइड। देखिए ए बी सी डी ई एफ रेटेंटिविटी कोरोसिविटी द हिस्टेरेसिस लूप शो द रिलेशनशिप बिटवीन द मैग्नेटिक फ्लक्स डेंसिटी एंड द मैग्नेटाइजिंग फील्ड स्ट्रेंथ। The magnetic flux density B is increased when the magnetic field strength H is increased from zero. With increasing the magnetic field, there is an increase in the value of magnetism, and it finally reaches point A called the saturation point, where B is constant. With decrease in the value of magnetic field, there is a decrease in the value of magnetism, but when B and H are equal to zero, the substance or material retains some amount of magnetism called retentivity or residual magnetism. The energy required to remove the retentivity of the material is lost in the form of hysteresis loss. Hence, the hysteresis loss depends upon the frequency of magnetic reversal. The hysteresis loss is given by pH बराबर kh into m into bm की power x, where pH hysteresis loss, kh hysteresis constant, f frequency, bm flux density, x Steinmetz hysteresis coefficient, kh into f into bm की power x, kh into f into bm की power x. What is the SI unit of permeability? Henry per meter. The permeability in the core in the figure 6 × 10⁻⁵ वेबर पर एम्पियर टर्न मीटर। द फ्लक्स डेंसिटी इन द कोर इज, देखिए करंट 3 सेंटीमीटर लेंथ है, 70 टर्न है। द फ्लक्स डेंसिटी प्रोड्यूस्ड इन एयर बाई ए गिवन मैग्नेटाइजिंग फोर्स इज कैलकुलेटेड एज बी बराबर म्यू इंटू एच। सिंस एन गुणे के आई बराबर एच गुणे के एल, एन गुणे के आई बराबर एच गुणे के एल, बी बराबर हो जाएगा यहाँ से म्यू गुणे के एन आई बटे के एल, क्योंकि देखिए बी बराबर होता है म्यू एच तथा यहाँ से एच बराबर हो जाएगा एन आई बटे के एल हो जाएगा। म्यू परमेबिलिटी ऑफ मटेरियल, एच मैग्नेटाइजिंग फोर्स, एन नंबर ऑफ टर्न, आई करंट। इसी में रख कर हल कर देंगे। ए कंडक्टर इन एक्स वाई प्लेन एंड हैविंग लेंथ 1 मीटर मूविंग विथ ए वेलोसिटी v बराबर 2i प्लस 3j प्लस के मीटर पर सेकंड। ए मैग्नेटिक इंडक्शन फील्ड b बराबर i प्लस 2j वेबर पर मीटर स्क्वायर इज अप्लाइड टू द कंडक्टर। द पोटेंशियल डिफरेंस बिटवीन द एंड्स ऑफ द कंडक्टर इज, देखिए द पोटेंशियल डिफरेंस इंड्यूस्ड बिटवीन द एंड्स ऑफ द मूविंग कंडक्टर इन ए मैग्नेटिक फील्ड इज गिवन बाई ई बराबर माइनस v क्रॉस b, वेयर ई पोटेंशियल डिफरेंस, b वेलोसिटी, b मैग्नेटिक फील्ड, ई बराबर माइनस v क्रॉस b। इसको देखिए हल करेंगे सारणिक बना के, आई जे के ई बराबर, देखिए अब जब आई को लेंगे तो इस तरह चिन्ह खींचकर इसका गुणा करेंगे और फिर माइनस जे के रूप में लेंगे। तो यहाँ पे इस दोनों कर लेंगे, इसमें और इसमें गुणा करके क्रॉस करेंगे। फिर जब इसको लेंगे तो इसका दोनों का क्रॉस करके लिखेंगे। लॉ ऑफ मैग्नेटिक फ्लक्स रिफ्लेक्शन, द रिलेशनशिप्स existing between the magnetic field strength and flux densities at the boundary are called the boundary condition. There are discontinuities in magnetic fields at the boundaries between conductors and material of different permeability. The specific conductance of a conductor is given by, यहाँ पे देखिए स्पेसिफिक कंडक्टेंस दिया हुआ है, मतलब कि जो रेसिस्टिविटी रो होता है उसका उल्टा। सेल्फ इंडक्टेंस ऑफ ए कॉइल इज डायरेक्टली प्रोपोर्शनल टू द फ्लक्स एंड नंबर ऑफ टर्न्स ऑफ द कॉइल कॉन्सेप्ट। द सेल्फ इंडक्टेंस ऑफ ए कॉइल इज गिवन बाई एल बराबर एन फाइव बाई आई, एल बराबर एन फाइव बाई आई, एल बराबर एन फाइव बाई आई, एल इंडक्टेंस, एन नंबर ऑफ टर्न्स, फाइव फ्लक्स, आई करंट। देखिए कॉन्सेप्ट, द आर एम एस वैल्यू इज गिवन बाई, आर एम एस बराबर करड़ी में मीन स्क्वायर वैल्यू आफ्टर द 10th एंट्री द वैल्यू आर रिपीटेड, हेंस एन बराबर 10। द मीन स्क्वायर वैल्यू ऑफ भी इज गिवन बाई 0 का स्क्वायर प्लस 5 का स्क्वायर प्लस 10 का स्क्वायर प्लस 20 का स्क्वायर प्लस 5 का स्क्वायर डॉट डॉट बटे के 10, यानी कि हो जाएगा 977 वोल्ट। आर एम एस बराबर कड़ी में 977 यानी 31 वोल्ट आ जाएगा। When the length of the solenoid is doubled without any change in the number of turns and area of the coil, then its self-inductance will be, the inductance of an air core solenoid is given by L बराबर म्यू नोट एन स्क्वायर बटे ए, म्यू एन स्क्वायर ए बटे एल, म्यू एन स्क्वायर बटे म्यू इंटू एन स्क्वायर इंटू ए बटे स्मॉल एल, वेयर एल इंडक्टेंस, एन नंबर ऑफ टर्न, ए एरिया, एल लेंथ। What type of power is generated by power factor correction capacitors connected to plants and used for improvement of the power factor? Reactive power. This is supply voltage I, lagging load. In order to improve the power factor of the circuit, we have to connect the capacitor in parallel with the inductive load as shown. देखिए कैपेसिटर इंडक्टिव लोड I डैश B. How can the overall efficiency of a thermal power plant be defined? Generator efficiency गुणे के efficiency of turbine including the condenser boiler efficiency. Overall efficiency बराबर electrical energy output बटा chemical energy input. Overall efficiency is also expressed as नंबर यानी थर्मल एनर्जी बटे के केमिकल एनर्जी गुणे के मैकेनिकल एनर्जी बटे के थर्मल एनर्जी गुणे के इलेक्ट्रिकल एनर्जी बटे के मैकेनिकल एनर्जी. ओवरऑल एफिशिएंसी बराबर बॉयलर एफिशिएंसी थर्मल एनर्जी बटा के केमिकल एनर्जी. फिर टरबाइन एफिशिएंसी जो कि मैकेनिकल एनर्जी बटे के थर्मल एनर्जी. फिर जनरेटर एफिशिएंसी इलेक्ट्रिकल एनर्जी बटे के मैकेनिकल एनर्जी. We have been looking at the efficiency of a power plant individually, but when the entire chain of energy transformation is considered from the moment the coal is brought out to the moment the electricity turns into its final form in the powerhouse, the true overall efficiency of the energy utilization will be revealed. In a synchronous motor, copper loss is compensated by DC source. In a synchronous motor, stator rotor DC synchronous motor. Friction and windage losses do not depend upon the load condition of the machine, they are the function of the speed only. Thus, for the most synchronous machine, they are constant. The core losses, hysteresis loss and eddy current losses depends upon the speed and magnitude of the rotating magnetic field. Copper losses, both stator and field, depends on the load and they are met by a DC source. Important point: the flow of power through a synchronous motor from stator to rotor and then to shaft output is shown in the figure. P loss बराबर PSCL plus P core plus PFCL plus PFW plus P stray. Here PSCL stator copper loss, PFCL field copper losses, P core losses, PFW friction and windage losses, P stray losses, P in PSCL, P core, फिर P गैप, फिर देखिए एन एस रोटर, फिर P फील्ड, फिर देखिए PFCL, PFW, P स्ट्रे, P शाफ्ट. पावर फ्लो डायग्राम फॉर ए सिंक्रोनस मोटर. Transmission efficiency: the power obtained at the receiving end of a transmission line is generally less than the sending end power due to losses in the line resistance. The ratio of receiving end power to the sending end power of a transmission line is known as the transmission efficiency of the line. The transmission efficiency of a transmission line indicates how efficiently the power is delivered to the load compared to the input power including losses. परसेंटेज एफिशिएंसी बराबर रिसीविंग एंड पावर बटे के सेंडिंग एंड पावर गुणे के 100. वी आर आई आर कास फाई आर बटे के वी एस आई एस कास फाई एस गुणे 100. वेयर वी आर आई आर एंड कास फाई आर the receiving end voltage, current and power factor, while VSIS and cos phi s are corresponding value at the sending end. What is the formula to calculate wind power density? वन बाई टू गुणे के एयर डेंसिटी गुणे के विंड स्पीड पर क्यूब। What is the part of the time response that remains even after the transient response has zero value? For the large value of t known as steady state response, transient response. This refers to the part of the system's response that occurs before the system reaches its steady state. It represents the initial adjustment in the system output when change is made. Steady state response after the transient effects have decayed to zero, the system reaches a stable condition where the output no longer changes with time. This steady state response reflects the long time behavior of the system and is the final value that the output stabilizes at for a given input. In control theory and systems analysis, distinguishing between transient and steady state response is crucial for understanding system dynamics and for designing effective controllers. The part of the time response that remains even after the transient response has reached zero for large value of t is known as steady state response. How is the all efficiency of a single phase transformer calculated? Output in kilowatt घंटा बटे के इनपुट इन kilowatt घंटा for 24 hours. It is calculated on the basis of energy consumed during a period of 24 hours. We can need for all efficiency. Some transformer efficiency cannot be judged by simple commercial efficiency as the load on certain transformers fluctuates throughout the day. For example, the distribution transformers are energized for 24 hours but they deliver very light loads for the major portion of the day and they do not supply rated or full load. And most of the time the distribution transformer has 50 to 75% load on it. The iron loss takes place at the core of the transformer, thus the iron or core loss occurs for the whole day in the distribution transformers. The second type of loss is known as copper loss and it takes place in the windings of the transformer and is also known as the variable loss. It occurs only when transformers are in loaded condition. Hence, the performance of such transformers cannot be judged by commercial or ordinary efficiency, but the efficiency is calculated or judged by all efficiency, which is computed by the energy consumed for 24 hours. What kind of feedback is most commonly used in closed loop operational amplifier? Degenerative. Degenerative or negative feedback is mostly commonly used in closed loop operational amplifier application. Concept: negative feedback circuit. Theta input, V input, summing point, subtraction, V input minus beta output. Theta electrical forward path, open loop gain, V out, theta 0. Feedback network attenuator beta, beta into V out, feedback path. The feedback amplification factor is given by AF बराबर A node बटे के 1 plus A node beta. A node is open loop gain. A node into beta is the loop gain. The negative feedback in amplifier cases reduced the gain and increased the stability in G. Increases the bandwidth to maintain constant gain bandwidth product. Reduces the distortion and noise in the amplifier. The signal to noise ratio is not affected. The voltage gain AV of an amplifier is defined as the ratio of output voltage to the इनपुट वोल्टेज ए वी बराबर वी ओ बटे वी इन वी जीरो is the output voltage of an amplifier and V in is the input voltage of an amplifier. In a negative feedback amplifier, closed loop voltage gain is given A V बराबर वी ओ बटे के वी इन बराबर वन बटे के वन प्लस ए जीरो बीटा here beta feedback factor A0 open loop gain of the amplifier. This expression clearly shows that closed loop voltage gain has reduced by introducing negative feedback. We know that a product of gain and bandwidth is inversely proportional, so here bandwidth of amplifier will increase. Gain गुणे bandwidth बराबर 0.35. A negative feedback amplifier decreases the current gain. What causes Ferranti effect in a transmission line? Charging current of the line. Ferranti effect. Where does the differential relay sends the trip signal to if a fault is detected? Circuit breaker. The differential relay sends the trip signal to the circuit breaker to disconnect the power in the event of a fault, ensuring for the electrical equipment and system. Differential relay function. The primary function of a differential relay is to detect differences in the current between two or more points in a power system, such as between the incoming and outgoing currents of a transformer or generator. If a significant difference indicative of a fault is detected, the relay initiates a protective action. Trip signal. Upon detecting a fault condition, the differential relay sends a trip signal specifically to the circuit breaker. This action causes the current circuit breaker to open, disconnecting the affected section of the electrical system to prevent damage or further fault. Importance of the circuit breaker. The circuit breaker acts as a switching device that interrupts the flow of current in response to the trip signals from the relay, protecting the equipment and maintaining system stability. Differential relay. A differential relay is one that operates when the phasor difference of two or more similar electrical quantities exceeds a predetermined value. Thus, a current differential relay is one that compares the current of entering a section of the system with the current leaving the section. Under normal operating conditions, the two currents are equal, but as soon as a fault occurs, this condition no longer applies. The difference between the incoming and outgoing currents is arranged to flow through the operating coil of the relay. In this differential current is equal to or greater than the pickup value. The relay will operate and open the circuit breaker to isolate the faulty section. Application of differential relay. Generally, differential relay are used to protect the equipment against internal faults. Merge price protection scheme is one form of the differential relay which is used to protect the stator winding of alternator from the internal faults. Differential relay is also used for protection of transformer winding. We can make use of differential relay in the protection of transmission line and busbar protection also. How can the heating area vary in a straight water tube boiler? By varying the length of the tubes. देखिए length of the tubes. Increasing the length of the water tube increases the surface area available for heat exchange. This allows for more effective heating of the water as it flows through the tubes. A longer tube can absorb more heat from the hot gases passing around it, enhancing the overall efficiency of the boiler. Surface area consideration. The heating area is directly related to the surface area of the tubes that is in contact with the hot gases. Longer tubes provide more surface area, allowing for better heat transfer. Conclusion. Thus, to effectively vary the heating area in a straight water tube boiler, the length of the tubes is a primary method as it directly impacts the surface area available for heat exchange. What happens when the control phase voltage of an alternator and AC servo motor becomes zero? Motor develops a accelerating torque and stops. When the control phase voltage of an AC servo motor becomes zero, the motor develops a deaccelerating torque and stops. In an AC servo motor, the control phase voltage is crucial for creating the necessary electromagnetic field that allows the motor to operate effectively. This voltage is essential for maintaining the rotor's speed and position. When the control phase voltage drops to zero, the electromagnetic field necessary for motor operation diminishes significantly. The motor is unable to generate the required torque to maintain its speed. As the electromagnetic field weakens, the motor experiences a deaccelerating torque. This means that instead of accelerating or maintaining speed, the motor will start to slow down and eventually come to a stop. If the control voltage remains at zero, the motor will not be able to perform any useful work and it will eventually stop due to the backup torque being produced. Control voltage from servo amplifier, control winding, rotor, reference winding, AC supply. The stator of the two-phase AC servo motor has the two distributed windings which are displaced from each other by 90 degrees electrical. One is reference winding supplied by constant AC voltage supply and the other is the control winding supplied by variable control voltage obtained from the servo amplifier. If the voltage across the control winding becomes zero, then the servo motor acts as a single phase induction motor. In order to prevent this, a light rotor and high resistance are to be used. This can be done by a drag cup type servo motor as shown below. Driving shaft stator drag cup made of aluminum laminated core. The rotor of the drag cup servo motor is made of a thin cup of the non-magnetic conducting material. A stationary iron core is placed in the middle of the conducting cup. This arrangement completes the magnetic circuit as the rotor of the motor is made of thin material. Its resistance will be high, which results in the high starting torque. In an AC voltmeter rectifier type, how does the bridge rectifier behave when reverse biased? It tends to bypass higher frequencies. In AC applications, rectifier not only convert AC to DC but also interact with various frequency components of the input signal. The frequency response is critical in understanding how different frequencies are handled. Parasitic capacitance. In practical rectifier circuit, the direct diode have parasitic capacitance that affect how the circuit behaves at a higher frequency. When the input frequency increases, this capacitance can allow some of the higher frequency components to pass through effectively bypassing them. Low frequency blockage. While the rectifier blocks the DC and low frequency AC components during reverse bias, high frequency signals may not experience the same level of blocking due to this capacitance. The sensitivity of the voltmeter refers to its ability to accurately measure voltage. When reverse biased, the bridge rectifier does not respond to low frequency signals, but due to the capacitive effect, it might still register some high frequency components, impacting the overall measurement accuracy. Reverse bias behavior in a bridge rectifier: when reverse voltage is applied, the diodes are reverse biased and do not conduct. However, this does not mean that it completely blocks all signals. High frequency response: the capacitive effect within the diode can lead to a behavior where higher frequency components of the signal might be bypassed. This means that while the rectifier blocks the DC level and lower frequency AC components, it can allow some higher frequency components to pass through or have less effect on the measurement due to the inherent capacitance in the circuit. Bypassing mechanism: when reverse biased, the diode do not conduct, but they can interact with high frequency signals due to parasitic capacitance. This results in a response that may allow high frequency component to be less effectively rectified or measured, leading to what might be interpreted as bypassing. What is the correct formula to calculate diversity factor? Sum of individual maximum demand बटे के maximum demand. Diversity factor: the ratio of the sum of individual maximum demand to the maximum demand on the power station is known as diversity factor. Here, sigma MDI is the sum of individual maximum demand. MD is maximum demand on the system. A power station supplies load to various types of consumer whose maximum demand generally do not occur at the same time. Therefore, the maximum demand on the power station is always less than the sum of individual maximum demands of the consumer. Hence, diversity factor is always greater than 1. The knowledge of diversity factor is vital in determining the capacity of the plant equipment. The greater the diversity factor, the lesser is the cost of generation of power, because greater diversity factor means lesser maximum demand. Now, lower maximum demand means a lower capacity of the plant, which reduces the cost of plants. How is the circuit length used to calculate voltage drop in a distributor? Defined distance from the point of origin to the load end of the circuit. The circuit length for calculating voltage drop in a distributor is defined as the distance from the point of origin to the load end of the circuit. Ensuring accurate voltage drop estimations for electrical distribution system. In electrical distribution systems, the circuit length refers to the physical distance from the starting point of the circuit, the point of origin, to the load being supplied. This distance is crucial for determining how much voltage drop will occur as current flow through the circuit. The longer the distance from the source to the load, the greater the resistance in- encountered by the current, leading to a larger voltage drop. Therefore, accurately defining the circuit length as the distance to the load is critical for proper voltage drop calculation. What is the bandwidth of an ideal operational amplifier? Infinite. An ideal operational amplifier has following characteristics: input impedance differential or common mode infinity, output impedance open loop शून्य, voltage gain infinity, infinite bandwidth, common mode voltage gain 0, V output 0 when both input are at same voltage. Output can change instantaneously infinite slew rate. The purpose of bias current is to achieve the ideal behavior in operational amplifier, which is high CMRR, high differential gain and high input impedance. Which of the following lighting calculation method is applicable for cases where all sources produce uniform illumination over the working plane or an average value required? Light flux method. Methods for calculating the illumination of light. The three main methods are as follows: watt per square method. The watt per square meter method is fundamentally a rule of thumb method. This method is used for rough calculations and checking purposes. It entails allocating watts per square method of the area to be illuminated in accordance with the desired illumination based on the average figure of overall system efficiency. Lumen method. The Lumen method is also called the light flux method. It is the method employed for lightning calculation that is applicable to those cases where the sources of light are such as to produce an approximate uniform illumination over the working plane or where an average value is required. Inverse square law method. The inverse square law method is also known as point-to-point method. It is applicable here illumination at a point due to one or more sources of light is required through the candle power of the sources in the particular direction under consideration is known. How many total winding transformers are present in a current earth leakage circuit breaker? 3. In a current operated earth leakage circuit breaker (ELCB), there are typically three windings involved to detect the respond to leakage currents effectively. These windings work together within the core balance current transformer (CBCT) to ensure precise leakage detection. Earth leakage circuit breaker (ELCB) देखिए relay neutral breakers contact phase test button current limiting resistor to load A-B core sensing coil. An ELCB is one kind of safety device that is used for protection against leakage current. It breaks the circuit, disconnects the power supply to the load when it senses the leakage current. ELCB is mainly used for protection against electrical shock. They do not offer protection against overloading or short circuit, therefore it must be used in series with MCB. The phase and neutral wire of the power supply are connected to separate windings of a small transformer in ELCB. In the given figure, the phase and neutral of the power supply are connected to separate winding A and B of a small transformer in ELCB. Working ELCB RYB neutral circuit breaker load relay. One terminal of the relay coil is connected to the metal body of the equipment to be protected against earth leakage, and other terminal is connected to the earth directly. If any insulation failure occurs or live phase wire touches the metal body of the equipment, there must be a voltage difference that appears across the terminal of the coil connected to the equipment body and earth. This voltage difference produces a current to flow through the relay coils. If the voltage differences crosses the predetermined limit, the current through the relay becomes sufficient to actuate the relay for tripping the associated circuit breaker to disconnect the power supply to the equipment. Plant capacity factor mainly depends on which of the following factor type of fuel. The type of fuel can significantly influence the capacity factor of a power plant, as different fuel have varying efficiency, availability, and operational characteristics. For instance, fossil fuels plant using coal, natural gas, or oil might have different operational pattern based on fuel supply and cost. Renewables plants using solar or wind are more variable and their capacity factors can vary widely depending on resource availability. While the load factor is also important, the type of fuel can dictate how consistently a plant can run and its overall efficiency. Plant capacity factor it is the ratio of actual energy produced to the maximum possible energy that could have been produced during a given period. The capacity factor of a plant is based on the plant operating frequency or time duration for which it has been operated. The plant capacity factor is given by plant capacity factor बराबर average demand बटा के plant capacity. Also, the reserve capacity of a power plant is given by reserve capacity बराबर plant capacity minus maximum demand. What is the Z parameter of a linear time invariant two-port network? Open circuit impedance parameter. The Z parameter or impedance parameter are a set of two-port network parameters that relate the voltages and currents at the input and output ports of a linear time invariant two-port network. These parameters are derived under open circuit condition, meaning that when output is open circuited there is no current flowing through the output port. Which of the following is mandatory condition for parallel operation of transformers? Same phase shift angle. For parallel connection of single phase transformer, primary windings of the transformers are connected to source bus bars and the secondary windings are connected to the load bus bars. Various conditions that must be fulfilled for the successful parallel operation of single phase transformers. Same voltage ratio, turn ratio, both primary and secondary voltage rating is same percentage impedance and X by R ratio, identical position of tap changer, same kVA rating, same phase angle shift, vector group are same frequency rating, same polarity, same phase sequence. Some of these conditions are convenient and some are mandatory. The convenient are same voltage ratio, turn ratio, same percentage impedance, same kVA rating, same position of tap changer. The mandatory condition are same phase angle shift, same polarity, same phase sequence and same frequency. When the convenient conditions are not met, parallel operation is possible but not optimal. For the parallel operation of three-phase transformers, same conditions are applicable with additional condition that the transformer should be belong to same vector group. What happens to the unused steam in a boiling water reactor plant? It condensed into water.